Yo, this is Slammer, and I'm drinking at Moe's.
This is Drinkin at Demos, where we talk about the pros of pro wrestling in the Midwest while sipping on some brews with blessed beers and wrestling. That's my scene. Death matches and lucha libre, it's also mean. I'm a straight up smart goofball, not no kiss ass. I stand tall when it comes to wrestling. I'm the king. I know every move, every fling. Get ready for a wild time with Drinkin at Moe's, where we don't quit. Drinkin at Moe's, that's where it's at. Like a power bomb, we hit hard, never flat. Fucking right, we're living the dream. Talking about wrestling, always a scream.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Dynamo be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're finishing filling out your order, use the code Drinkin at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. All right, everybody, welcome Drinkin at Moe's. Big Mo here, you know the drill. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment if you will. Helps with that pain in the ass YouTube algorithm, where most places you can find your audio podcast too. Today, I'm excited to have with me, out of the Midwest, like me, fellow collector, like me, Slammer. How you doing? Your stuff puts my little thing over here to shame.
I got a pretty crazy collection here.
Yeah, my oh god damn. Yeah,
That's
you put mine to shame.
that's
Like,
that's a lot of stuff that I still get, but that's a lifetime worth of collection right there. And I've got magazines in boxes. I got a closet over there with tons of stuff in it, and
oh yeah.
wrestling t-shirts. Man, I got so much cool stuff, man. It's like
Oh yeah.
sometimes I wish I could just have the whole basement down here just for all this, but I'm pretty happy with this little room. Makes me pretty
Oh
happy to come in here.
oh yeah. It's definitely something that makes me smile with some of the memories I have of getting especially some of my signed stuff. But before we get into all that,
Yeah.
oh, wow, I thought that was going to be quieter. I like my Dr. Pepper, but it gives me the burps like crazy. But first thing I like to ask everybody is, what got you started as a fan, and then what got you deciding to make the leap into the business?
I mean, it's just my started watching when I was a little kid, and that's all I ever wanted to do. I mean, I remember being a little 12-year-old kid at the doctor one time. I tell this story every now and then. It's one of those kind of inspirational stories, 12 years old, sitting there in the doctor's office, and the doctor spouted off with what do you want to do when you grow up? No hesitation for me. I'm going to be a professional wrestler. That's unrealistic. You have to be a gigantic man and blah blah blah, and literally cut a little 12-year-old kid down. And it's like, man, I would never do that to somebody. So anyway,
No.
Dr. Bowie, look at me, brother.
Roller. But yeah, no, that there's always that little bit of a satisfaction factor to it when you have somebody told you, oh, you won't get this or that, and then you basically prove them wrong, and it's just like, fuck you.
If it wouldn't have been for me going to work at UPS, I mean, I've been there for 21 years. I had done some training and stuff before I worked at UPS. And then once I started working at UPS, I worked night shift there, in the beginning, 5:30 to 10:30 at night. And then I had a 40-hour week job during the day. So for 3.5 years, I was working a 40-hour plus week job plus a 25 plus hour week job at UPS. So pretty much wrestling was put on the back burner. There really wasn't anywhere to train and stuff like that. So I mean, I had a pretty long wait between bump taken from 2002 to 2016. So
that's a little bit of a gap, but
yeah,
hey,
you
you
know,
got in there.
it's better to get in the bottom of the seventh than not get in at all. You know what I'm saying? And
That is true. That is
there's
true.
eat my vitamins and keep on trucking, man.
Mhm.
That's the thing.
Oh yeah, hell, the Midwest right now kind of gets underestimated, I think, in the world of independent professional wrestling because, you know, while there is, the two big spots are always, out in California or out, New York and, Philadelphia, that area. But, Midwest, it's got a booming scene.
Oh my gosh, there is wrestling everywhere in the Midwest. There's so much wrestling in St. Louis right now. I mean, it's insane. Just St. Louis. I mean, all these tons of places in Illinois. I see places in Indiana, a bajillion places down in Tennessee and Arkansas. I see a lot of people wrestling in Oklahoma, Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh
That's
my
where I'm
gosh,
from.
Nebraska. Okay, so yeah, I mean it's literally everywhere. And it sucks a lot of times, some places I wrestle for the have places running a show on the same night.
Yeah, that is true. That does happen.
Because
So,
that kind of made August a little bit slow because my I did I worked 2 shows 2 days in a row, August 2nd and 3rd. I ended up wrestling 4 matches in those 2 days, and I haven't done anything since. I had my MMWA was August 10th. I had to miss that. I had a wedding I had to go to that had been in the books for a year, and it's like didn't know I'd actually be their champion a year ago, and it's like I got to miss a freaking match. It was a bummer, but
yeah.
yeah, August. New breed. They always take the month of August off, so this week you got Labor Day coming up. I really haven't seen a whole lot of anything going on this weekend, so. But once September starts, things start kicking back in again.
Oh, yeah. I know September, there is going to be a show that, like, if it weren't for a family wedding, though, I would think about going because, going back to growing up watching wrestling, one of my favorite events was always the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Just the craziness of like, oh, you have to literally throw them over the top rope. And well, it seems like a lot of promotions out there actually have their versions of that.
Yeah.
And there's a promotion here in Omaha, Magnum Wrestling, that their show in September is their version of that. And it'd be like, once I saw the date, I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
Like my commentary debut, which we can talk about a little bit. After I had already, confirmed that I'd be there and all that, then my sister, no fault of her own, planned one of my niece's birthday parties for that day. And I'm like, shit. But that, my wife gave me an excuse because, it was already set in there. You don't want to just say you're going to be there and then, oh, nope, you can't. But the wedding, yeah, no, she's not going to let me get away with that.
No.
But like I said, Midwest, my commentary debut here in Omaha as of this recording this last Sunday for Fight Against Suicide Wrestling had the Overcome event. And man, besides it being a freaking scorcher, it was fun.
Yeah, it's been hot.
So that it was, got lucky that, come showtime, the commentary table and the ring at least were mostly in the shade. So that was the good part about it. But, I mentioned that, I guess, I don't know why I didn't realize this before, that we got some mutual friends that, one of them, the opening match was actually in honor of them, Maury Swanger.
Maury, okay. I don't know him personally. I know him from Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was in honor of him because he basically started the independent scene here in Omaha. Like the promotions that are running right now wouldn't really, well, I mean, might not have started. I shouldn't say wouldn't have, because who the hell knows, but he was a big part. And then Moose, big dude Moose
Monsoon.
Yep. He was involved in managing 3 of the matches. And I'm telling you, that dude, like, you watch some of his, I think it was something I said on commentary that, like, his feet were like bricks and his hands were like boulders. You look at him and it just looks like, oh God, I do not envy the guy getting hit by that.
Was he the one running the event?
No, it was actually a friend of mine that, mutual friends. So he asked Moose to be in the show. So we got him in there. And that was fun. Besides it being
900 degrees.
Oh God. I remember I joked with some coworkers because for some reason our air conditioning isn't working right now. And I said, man, I was outside yesterday getting swamp ass. I don't want to be inside getting it.
I tell you, man, after I work all day long, the last thing I want to do is walk back outside. So I get it.
Yeah. What have been some of your favorite experiences here with the independent scene? Because, some places seem to be able to bring in some of those bigger names every once in a while more than, some others. Like, I know St. Louis can really bring them in. Omaha, we get them periodically. And then you get places like, good Lord, Chicago gets them all the time. But what has been some of your favorite experiences from your career so far?
Oh gosh, we used to get down at Cape Championship Wrestling when that was going on, man. I was down there for like 2018 to last year or so. I mean, I got to do a seminar with Jerry Lynn, and that was awesome. I mean, he's just super cool and just so knowledgeable. I did a with Hernandez and Homicide.
Okay, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was the oldest guy there, and me and the youngest guy were the only ones left standing at the end of that.
Okay.
That thing. I remember seeing, I think somebody left. One dude I remember laying passed out on the floor like the whole day. They were pretty much all these guys to death. So we had Mike Bennett. Mike Bennett had a really good seminar.
Man, I've met him a handful of times, not to interrupt you, but dude, such a cool dude.
He's one of those guys. I after that seminar was done, he said, guys, if you didn't get anything out of it, I will give you your money back. I'm like, man, this was awesome. Because we had that QT Marshall guy. I did a seminar with him, and I would like to have my money back after his seminar. That guy, really? I don't usually, I didn't like him very much. I don't usually say bad things about people, but that guy, he rubbed me the wrong way, and he just.
Interesting, because I know he does big things over there with the Nightmare Factory and all that.
Yeah, I just
Hmm.
not a fan.
Hey, everybody, not everybody's a fan of certain people, so that happens. I know I've had
I,
some talks
I
with
I
some.
I actually didn't even mean to say all that. It just kind of came out.
Oh, trust me, it happens with me too. So no worries there.
Yeah,
I
we've had.
know.
I mean, we had like, gosh, we had Hornswoggle down there a couple times. Billy Gunn,
Oh yeah.
Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Glacier, Matt
Mm,
Cross. Gosh, dang man, we had tons of people down there,
that's awesome.
and that
And
was all. That was also the home of Marco Stunt. I mean, Marco, he's a
okay,
good.
yeah.
He's a friend, so yeah, it's cool to just see all these people come through. We had a lot of the AEW guys come through. We've had like, Sammy Guevara was down. We had oh Fuego
Oh,
del
Fuego del
Sol.
Sol.
We had him down there before. The Christopher Daniels, Kazarian.
Okay.
Gosh, I forgot just how many. I could probably sit here and rattle some more off if I
Yeah,
think about it.
had,
We've
I,
yeah, we had a lot of people come through. So with that being said, yeah, I got to meet a whole lot of cool people along the way. So been really
oh yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah, I can say the same about myself. Hell, they're going by Pro Wrestling Ventures now, but they were Warrior Wrestling based out of Chicago, but they had a St. Louis stop, and myself and the podcast actually got invited down, and Mike Bennett, I got to talk to him again. I've met him a handful of times. Lance Archer, uh, Jeff Cobb. Oh God, who else? Athena. Um, I got to actually do a shorter episode with Bronson Reed.
Oh, cool.
So wrestling when you're a fan and or hell, even more wrestling, and you can meet a lot of cool people. Like
Oh yeah, I just had three more pop in my head. Heck, we had Kevin Nash, we had Matt Cardona, we had Scarlett and Karrion Cross right when they got signed back with WWE. I guess they let them fulfill their contract stuff. So yeah, we're supposed to have Scott Hall a couple times, and both times I never
I
did
think you
get to
cut
meet
out
him.
there.
So oh, sorry. Yeah, Scott. We had Scott Hall booked, but he canceled on us a couple times. So
Mm, but you know what? This is actually a nice segue here because you bring up Matt Cardona. I had the pleasure of meeting the man myself, and you know we had mutual friends in common, but we also obviously yours is a little more extensive than my collection, but I do Matt Cardona have his Super 7 signed.
oh, nice.
Rather
Yeah.
proud of that one. And I got the ringside exclusive Danhausen signed by him.
All
So
right.
I got some nice ones. So it's been for you a little bit longer than I've been building some of this, but what actually got you started collecting? Because everybody has that line that just brings them back every time they think about it.
I just started, I mean, literally when I was a kid, I just started collecting. And, I got stuff throughout the years. And then there was a time when we built our first house, like when my daughter was born, I had my wrestling room, but she needed a room for all of her toys and stuff. And I was like, you know what? Let me just put all my stuff away. She can have the playroom. So like all my stuff just kind of got put away, and like for years it was just like, Christmas I'd get a few things here and there, just get some things. And then when we bought this house 5 years ago, twice the size of our other house, and they had this room down here, and I just remember coming down here and unpacking all the stuff and being like Christmas morning, just getting all the stuff out, remembering everything. And then I just gone wild. I mean, there's certain things I like to collect, and it's like it's on.
Oh, I I can relate. I know.
And they do all this stuff to hit you in the feels, when they bring out, I got this 4 pack of wrestlers. One of them has Hogan with the big green belt. I
Mm,
mean, they just nail you with all this nostalgic stuff. It's like, ah, oh, man, so
oh yeah.
such good memories and times.
There's one out of the Legends series that I'm really wanting to pick up because I was such a huge fan of Ray Traylor, Big Boss Man.
Oh,
And
okay, yeah,
I saw they have his Big Bubba Rogers
yeah.
one out, and I'm like, oh damn! I already got the Big Boss Man one up here, so I need to go get that one too.
I've got all of them in that series except for him, and they actually got a chase of him. So I think he's got a white shirt, and I think he's got a blue shirt on the other one. But he has the UWF Championship belt, so that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Oh yeah. And I don't know about you, but most of my stuff is usually kept in boxes, especially if they're still alive, just in the case I get to meet them.
Mm-hmm.
But my ones, like I have the Funko Pops here, figures here for ones that have passed on. It's like, well, I'm not going to be able to get the chance to get them autographed. So if I'm going to open anything, is there anything that like I can see that most of your stuff is in box. Is there anything that you would open?
Nope.
You're in.
And unless somebody gets me something double, like these wrestling superstars that came out a couple of years ago, I get all of those. Well, I ran across like sales where they had like Hall and Nash. I got them for like $3 a piece. It's like, okay, I'm gonna get these and I'm gonna open them, and I did. And years ago, they had the Titantron playset. Came with Vince McMahon.
Mm,
For some reason, I got 2 of them, so I did open one. So if somebody gives me a double of something, yeah, or if I found something and it's just cheap, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll get that and open it. But any other thing, no, I keep it.
yeah.
I've got little cheap wrestling things that I picked up at like 20 years ago, just little generic wrestlers. They're over there and they're packages still, and
No,
they're actually pretty cool little packages. So
okay. I have to admit, besides my ones that for those that have passed on, I think for the majority of it, I've kind of been under the same guideline. If if I end up somebody gives me one that I already have, well, I'll open one of them. But other than that, generally kept in, especially if I have a feeling I could meet them. Like, I mean, the entire first shelf is all signed.
nice.
Because I know there's those, excuse me, those that for some reason don't like to get the figures signed. Are you particularly one of those, or it's like, hey, if I'm going to meet them, why the hell not?
Yeah, I actually don't want any of my stuff signed, and only did that one time. I'm actually need to wipe it off. When I met Billy Gunn, I took one of the Maximum Sweat figure of him. He thought it was just neat to see him talk about it and how cool it was, and his signature was sloppy. And I was like, why did I have him do that for? And like, I bought one of Matt Cardona's bendies,
Mm.
and he looked at me, he says, "Do you want me to sign that?" I was like, he goes, "It's cool, man." He goes, "I get you." He goes, I understand if you don't want it signed. I'm like, yeah, I really just don't. He's like, "Man, no, no offense taken or anything." I was like, okay. I was like, I just like them. I like them the way they are, because I got all like the whole show series. I've got all of those except for Ric Flair. For
Oh
some
wow.
reason, it's a Series 4 Ric Flair. Reason I never could find him in the stores, and I found a guy on some Facebook page that had one. And I see a message. I'm like, "You still have this?" But it was signed. And I was like,
Mm.
I don't want it.
Yeah, my
And
whole
that kind of
thing.
confuses people sometimes. Like, you don't want a signed figure? No, I don't.
Yeah, I can. I mean, I get it, but I know for me myself, it's like, man, why not? I
Yeah,
want to. If I'm gonna meet them, it's like shit, and I already have it. It's like, man,
yeah.
just
Hey,
take it up.
it's each his own.
Yeah.
If you like them signed, that's awesome. I don't like them signed. That's
No.
awesome.
And
Yeah,
oh yeah,
and
no,
I cringe at thinking about action figures getting open. When I see somebody unboxing something, I mean, it literally guts me when I see somebody do it. But if somebody wants to buy stuff just open, I get
hey,
it. I
and
get it.
that's the thing. Much like professional wrestling in general, it's you know to each their own.
Yeah,
Everybody has, like in wrestling, everybody has their types of wrestling that they like. Some just WWE, some AEW, some like me that will, you put wrestling on in front of me, I'll watch it.
you're gonna watch it. Yep.
And hell, I think I've had a little bit of everything on the podcast. I've had lucha, I've had deathmatch, I've had ECW originals. I'm like, just a little bit of everybody from all stages of their careers. I've had, ring announcers, photographers, commentators, like literally everybody. I'm like, I want to be one of those that is like, I want to put shine on everybody.
Yeah.
Anybody that wants to come on and talk wrestling, talk figure collecting, I want you on.
Yeah. I think that's awesome.
And well, okay, I gotta ask because you have like, oh god, like I'm jealous of one thing. Is there any figure line that is like you just didn't want?
Any figure line I just didn't want.
Yeah.
I can honestly say no. There's nothing that
No, I can respect that.
I like there's particular things that I'm after. Just I would still get Hasbro's, getting a little pricey now.
Yeah.
I'm happy with what I got. I got quite a bit of them, but the retro Mattels, I've been collecting those since those came out. I got another 4-pack supposed to be in tomorrow, and I don't know. They're just I just love the Hasbro retro style that they have, and
Yeah.
these superstars that they came out with a couple years ago. I just like these. So those are my two, and I've been digging these Legend series they keep popping out with. It's like, man, I wish they would just quit coming out with so much stuff so fast, because they're eventually. Well, I got the Monday Night Wars one. I got one set of them, and I found two the other day, and I got to find the other two to complete that set. And it's like, man, they just keep popping out with these things that I want.
Yeah, that's the hard part about it because good lord. I think the one set that, or the one company, I have more of the AEW stuff than anything right now. I
I
didn't
I
think I even realized it until I was putting everything up here. I'm like, holy crap.
I do have AEW figures. If you would, I ended up getting the first set, the first series, and I was pretty happy with that. Then I just started getting some more of them, and I actually like all the guys that I end up getting. But yeah, I mean, if you would have said, is there a series that you just, but then again, it's like, well, it's kind of cool to have some AEW stuff in here with all the WWF, WWF, WCW stuff, everything
Yeah.
else in here. I mean, I got a couple ECW figures, but not very many. Those were tough to find back in the day, and
Oh hell, they're still tough to
but
find now. I think collectible conventions are really the only time I ever see them anymore.
Yeah, I mean, every now and then I'll think, oh, let's see if they got something. I've got I got a Just Incredible and a Sabu, and
Mm.
they're really cool. That's like, man, sometimes like, man, I'd like to find some of these others to go with it, but
No, I can get you there. I know for me, when it comes to collecting the figures, the the only thing that I tend to not really get are the basics, like the WWE
yeah,
basics. And it's just my taste, you don't like getting too much signed. Although I do have two of the WWE basics, and coincidentally, they're both signed by Lindsay Dorado and Swerve.
okay,
I
cool,
got to. I do enjoy my story behind the Swerve one because it was at Sammy Callahan's promotion Revolver,
okay,
and I was a little bummed out because one, he wasn't out there during the meet and greet they usually do beforehand.
yeah,
And so I was like, crap. So I'm like walking a little dejected back to my car. And all of a sudden, I see somebody filming a promo in the parking lot. And then I'm like, I get a little closer because it's literally maybe 5 feet away from where my car was. And then I'm like, holy shit, that's Swerve. Okay, I'm just going to stand back here a little bit. And dude, for somebody that can play one sadistic son of a bitch in front of the camera, he is one of the absolute nicest people you could hope to meet.
so they usually say, the nastier the person is on TV, usually the nicest person you could ever meet. It's kind of like the opposite for most baby faces you meet. It's like, man, that guy's a jerk.
Yeah, you know what? I've been lucky that I haven't ran into too many of those, but yeah, it happens.
Yep.
And it's weird because it's like, it's a weird contrast.
Yep.
So, okay, I have two categories here. One being a bit of a name game, and I try to theme it towards the guests as much as possible. And each of these people have been ones that I've seen a lot in different figure collecting videos.
Okay.
And I figured, you and I both being, figure collectors, why not?
Why not?
So I name off the person and you give me some quick thoughts on them.
Okay.
First one, I think one that most people would often think of when it comes to figure collecting because he often pops up as some of the first videos I see. The one and only Matt Cardona.
Matt Cardona, that dude. You just talking about wrestling figure collecting? Like, I mean, love their show. I am a Figure Brothers figure podcast listener every week.
Mm.
And Cardona just reminds me of me. That's like when we were sitting there talking to him, my daughter was like, you guys are like exactly the same.
You know what? I've gotten those similar vibes.
And somebody had sent me this the other day, just him giving a seminar on having a merch table and selling merch. It's like, I've been doing all this stuff forever. It's weird how much people say that I remind me of him just because of the action figures, merch table, and all this stuff. I mean, you ought to watch that clip about him giving the seminar on merch. I don't know why people. I could give a seminar on how people could build their merch table up, but percent of them wouldn't do it. So,
it's weird. It's weird how that works sometimes. You could have two different people doing it, and I've ran into it. Hell with the podcast even. It's weird. It was like I can interview such and such big name, but it's like it happens, you have different people getting thousands of views on something, and
Yeah.
it's weird how it works out sometimes. But when it comes to figure collecting, Matt Cardona is like they're just synonymous with each other.
Yep, it's true. And I don't think I think he collected as a kid. Seems like he had talked about getting rid of all of his stuff at one time, then restart it up again. It's just like
Yeah, I
it's like, oh, how could you get rid of all of your stuff? It's like I just could never imagine getting rid of my stuff.
yeah, I know when I was a kid, I mostly opened up everything, and God, I would hope that at my parents' house they still have some of my old stuff, but I've kind of come to the conclusion that it's probably got sold off at some garage sale here or there. I don't.
That's always a weird thing that I'll see like posts or something. It's like it might be like, hey, my neighbor, had a stuff up in the attic and had all these Hasbro's men on card. It's like, man, I got to find some grandma that has all their kids' stuff in the attic and be like, hey, take the stuff off your hands.
Oh yeah,
I've
no,
seen I've seen where people have been walked into a Goodwill before and found a Hasbro men on card.
I know.
I'm
It's
like,
like where the hell are those near me?
that's what I'm talking about. It's like I would have put. We go to antique malls all the time, and it's like just I would have never went to an antique mall years ago. It's like now it's like, man, we ought to walk into these and look. I walked out with brand new minty action figures from these places.
Oh yeah. Now, you know what? Also a segue here because I actually have a figure pre-ordered, which I don't normally do, from Matt Cardona's line because I'm such a huge fan of the guy.
Okay.
And he did, well, not so much anymore after joining WWE. But maybe he's just too damn busy for it. But he used to be one of the figure hunt videos I would watch every damn week. Like I had the alert on YouTube and everything. But hey, I'm happy for him because hell, he's the current reigning defending NXT champion, all ego Ethan Page.
We had him at CCW one time. That dude was nice too. I was in a match, and then at the end of the night, I was always taking the ring down. But during intermission, he took pictures with people. Well, pictures for the people, and he walked up to me and handed me $5 and thanked me for taking the pictures. I was like, you don't have to give me any money. He's like, man, he goes, you're working a match. He goes, you're taking the ring down. He goes, I can only do $5, but I wanted to do something for you. I was like, I'll go buy a Bang Energy on my way home. Thanks.
Hey, I've heard plenty of good about interactions with him. I have yet to actually meet him myself, but he when I heard that he was going to have one of the major wrestling figure podcasts, the Big Rubber Guys,
Mm-hmm.
when Ethan Page was going to have one, I'm like, oh damn. I don't normally pre-order because for some reason I've just had weird experiences with pre-orders, but that one I am getting.
I think that's going to be good. When's that supposed to be in?
Oh God, I don't think it's supposed to be in till like November, December.
Is that the one with like the Hardy Boys and?
I'm trying to remember who else is in it. I think Matt Hardy might be one of them. Broken Matt Hardy
one of them, and okay, maybe a British Bulldog or something.
I am trying to remember who else is in that.
I know there's like 4 of them, and I do remember Ethan Page was one of them. So that's pretty cool that he got it. I guess that they made the deal before he got his NXT deal, so that's pretty cool. That
yeah, and when he was in AEW, I was always like, oh man, I can't wait for one of his figures to come out. And, then everything happened the way it did. I was kind of surprised because, often when you think of people getting released, it's like they weren't in anything for a while. But Ethan Page was literally in a story, like going towards a Ring of Honor TV title shot, and it's like all of a sudden he just isn't there anymore, and it's like, well, shit.
Yeah, I
And
thought
then
did he get
then
he got a figure made of him in AEW, did he?
yeah, after he had been there for a while, and then all of a sudden the big rubber guy comes out, and then all of a sudden he's popping up at very shortly after popping up at NXT, and it's like, well, okay, I guess maybe we'll get some WWE ones here soon. Who knows?
I'm sure he will. He won a championship. The least they can do for him is make a nice little action figure of him.
Oh, you would think, and I mean they've made ones for different NXT people throughout the year in the main line. So
yeah,
you think with a guy that brought as many people to the NXT product, because I have heard so many talks of people that hadn't really watched before, that all of a sudden they see him popping up there, all of a sudden they're following him over.
Yep.
So I'm happy for him.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, next one. I'm trying to he's popped up on a lot of Ethan Page's toy hunt vlogs before. And I actually got, well, both of these next people I actually got figures of behind me here. But the first one, if I scoot that over, love that Danhausen.
Is that the?
That's a ringside exclusive.
Okay, that's pretty cool. It's gonna sound crazy. I really don't know a lot about him. I know he used to wrestle up around St. Louis a lot, and I've seen him pop up a couple times on AEW. It's because I don't know that I've ever seen a match of his before.
I have, God, and I hate it with the. Okay, I love AEW, but there has been some people that they've had go through there that I'm just like, what the heck are you doing? They could do all of this stuff, like Ethan Page, Danhausen. He was in Ring of Honor before Tony Khan bought it, and he was pretty entertaining there. But then, hell, the time that I got to see him was actually at Sammy Callahan's promotion, Revolver, which seems like that's where most of my figures were signed at. But man, just he has this swagger, just this entertaining way that's like, yeah, he does a lot of comedy spots, but then when he really gets going, it's like, holy crap, he can really go. So I've admired him. I've actually got to show him a picture of my setup here. And he's like, that's pretty good. And I'm like, thank you. For somebody that probably has way more than I do, that means a lot. I actually had the same thing with Matt Cardona. I was getting to tell him about that him and Ethan Page were actually people that got me back into collecting, because there had been a while where like I might have a few Funko Pops and stuff, but then all of a sudden I'm starting seeing these guys doing the figure hunts, and I'm like, well, shit, that looks like fun.
Nothing quite as gratifying as finding something out in the wild.
That is true.
That you're going to find.
Oh yeah, I remember. Good Lord. Here's one right here. I wasn't even, when I ended up buying it, I wasn't even planning on getting anything that day. But I saw this and I'm like, well, shit, that looks awesome. the pay-per-view limited edition Bryan Danielson,
That's good.
the Target exclusive. I'm like, that look. I think it was the sticker on there, the pay-per-view limited edition that goes kind of similar to the one of 3,000s. I
Yeah.
got the bloody Eddie Kingston actually at a collision taping.
Oh,
I was
cool.
like, I was about to get one of the micro brawlers, but then I saw that and I'm like, okay, I'm getting that.
Yeah.
Because well, now that I think about it, I actually have 3 different Eddie Kingston figures. I got the Walmart exclusive, which I actually found with my wife when we were at Walmart in the clearance section for like $9. So it was like, shit, okay, I'm a fan of him, so why not?
Yep.
And,
I was at Walmart the other day, thought about grabbing it, but I didn't. They had one of the Supreme uh Penta L Zero Penta $10. Normally like a $40 figure.
yep, I got it.
Did you get it for $10?
Nope.
They got him on sale. They had like 3 or 4 of them for $10 a piece.
Jeez.
Things like
Yeah,
it was like
those Supreme
$37
ones are.
or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like, wow. Those Supreme ones, I think the one that I've been shown recently that I need to go see if any place near me has it, but I've actually seen popping up at some Walmarts the Supreme Edition for Sting.
Okay, cool.
I'm like, ooh, I do not have one of him yet. I'm like, I think I have most of the Target exclusives. I think the only one that I don't have is the John Moxley MJF 2-pack. I think that's the only one I don't have as of right now.
Is Target even going to be carrying AEW anymore? Are they getting out of it?
You know what? I don't
Maybe.
know because it seems like every once in a while, they've got a big order in, but then there's certain times I go in there and I'm like, good Lord, they've been cleaned out.
Yeah. It's so hit and miss anymore going to these places. Man, you go in there some days, they'll have a lot of stuff. Then other day, and Target's weird too. They may get like a Legend series in, and they'll be the $22 or whatever. And then like 2 days later, 3 of them will be $22. One will be like 6.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's very strange how they do that. I think I got the Sultan. I wasn't even going to get the Sultan, and I went in there and he was like $5.98. I was like, well, I'm not going to leave a Sultan sitting here for $5.98.
If you can get a deal like that, why the hell not?
Yeah.
All right. Last but not least, here there is a guy. I'm trying to. Oh, it might be in one of some of my stuff I have behind some of the displayed stuff, but one big dude that, man, if I, after making my commentary debut, he would definitely be one that I would love to commentate for. The big man himself, Brody King.
Brody King. He's another one that, I mean, yeah, I've seen him wrestle some in AEW. Big, good guy to go. I just really unfamiliar with him for the most part. But prior to anything AEW, I mean, I know he's with the House of Black,
And
but
like, go,
I,
man,
I,
those guys.
I don't honestly know if I've ever seen him in a one-on-one match.
I've seen
Oh, wait a
some,
minute.
and
I take that back. I think did he wrestle Edge here right before he got hurt?
yeah,
Okay, I did see that match, but as far as that goes, pretty unfamiliar with him for the most part.
he's definitely one that, for people that, in wrestling, there are a lot when you're, especially on the independents, I've heard about it a lot where, when you're doing it so much, when you're actually in the business, when you get your free time, sometimes wrestling isn't really what you want to watch because you're living it so much. When you get your free time, you kind of want to watch something outside of it.
I get that. Monday nights, even if Raw is as boring as it still kind of is, it's been trending boring for years. I've seen every episode since 1993. So I mean, I come, I get home from work. Sometimes I get, you know, I don't work super late all the time. UPS driver, I might get home at 6 o'clock. I might get home at 9 o'clock. Who knows? But I come home and I want to work out, and when I come in, I'll flip it on or something, watch that or whatever. And
Yeah, no, everybody has their programs that they like to try to religiously watch. Raw has definitely been one of those for me. I know I have to agree. There have been times where the last few years where it's been kind of meh, but kind of recently they've been
yeah,
trending
it's
kind of,
been better. Yeah,
yeah, it's
I mean,
been, yeah.
you can almost predict what the matches are going to be every week though, because
When you watch
I
as
mean,
much as you and I do, then yeah, that happens.
there's only so many times you can watch
Yeah,
Chad Gable and Sami Zayn wrestle, or the
yeah,
tag team matches they have.
yeah. The tag team divisions in a lot of places seems to get thrown on the back burner, but I would like there's oh Bo Dallas and this whole thing they're doing with the Wyatt Six. I'm like it gets me thinking. I've been enjoying it so much that I almost think that if God rest his soul, Bray Wyatt was still around, if he was getting to do what it's been told that his visions were for Bray Wyatt now, as opposed to when he was doing it, holy shit. All right. Now I got some random questions. Some might be wrestling related, some might not be.
Oh,
Some might have
variety.
absolutely nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far.
Cool. A little variety.
No, a little variety. I try to switch it up every once in a while. There's a couple questions that I keep in there for the most part because, I mean, the first one I'm going to lead off with, I love the stories that I get from it. Craziest in match moment for you?
Craziest in match moment. Whew. Oh,
It
oh
can
my
be tough to
gosh.
choose sometimes.
It is. It's like, man, what is a crazy? I mean, not really during a match, but just like when I won the MMWA championship here back in March. Everybody knew except me. You know, 10 minutes before the match is when I found out, and there was one guy, he was trying to get it to keep it to the ring. He's like, just let him win it out there. Don't even tell him. I'm glad they told me because it was pretty insane. So I mean, it actually, I mean, still yet that was crazy in the ring, just winning that belt. But I can't think of anything just really crazy right offhand. It's
I mean, to be honest, when you brought up, winning that title and not finding out until very shortly before, that still I would think would count as a pretty crazy moment because, you're not going there that day expecting that you're going to be winning that title, and then all of a sudden you're heading into
yeah,
your match, and then
and
boom.
it's crazy because when I showed up there that night, actually I didn't notice it, but they already had the flyers printed up for the next month's event,
Mm,
and on the flyer it had me with the belt,
mm,
but I hadn't seen it yet. Well, they had to get them all off the table because they couldn't be
ah,
showing that to were there or whatever. And literally for like the next 3 hours, I mean, I knew nothing about what was going on,
oh
and
boy,
then they
yeah,
just dropped it on me, and I was like, Okay. All right.
I actually witnessed a match one time where I didn't find this out until after, but the guy that won the belt at this promotion that night literally didn't know that he was going to be the one winning until he goes to pin the guy, and the guy literally says to him, "Congrats, champ." And
Like,
what?
I've known a few people that have had that happen to them. I'm glad it didn't happen to me, but it almost did.
Oh yeah, yeah, you came close, but
Because
yeah, I think
if he would have
that
just
guy.
laid there, I'd have been like, hurt you or something. That knock
Yeah,
you out? That knock you out?
yeah. Oh man, that it's something special though, because anytime you're winning a belt or the championship, that's that promotion's stamp of approval on you.
Yeah. And it's like I tell everybody, like MMWA, man, it's St. Louis at the South Broadway Athletic Club. Place has been there for over 100 years. Our next event is celebrating the 125th anniversary of the Broadway Club.
Nice.
When I started wrestling, that was literally on my bucket list, and I had an interview with him the first time I ever had a match there. All I want to do is like, I just want to have at least one match at Broadway. It just that would be so cool to get to wrestle there. And now here I am over 2 years later, wrestling there every single month, and I've been in the main event for the
That,
last year, and I've had their belt for the last 6 months. It's like sometimes it's like, wow, I just wanted one match there, and here I am doing this, you know.
getting to do it on a regular basis.
Yeah, it blows my mind. Just wrestling in general, it just blows my mind sometimes. Like, well, I'm really doing this.
You, you know, that was kind of the way I was with my commentary debut, because I was telling my wife on last Friday, I'm like, holy shit, the damn butterflies are really going right now. And she was like, why? I'm like, okay, I had come to terms with the fact that the in ring part of it probably wasn't going to be for me, because, hurting my back in the military and everything. But when I started the podcast, I'm like, well, maybe commentary, maybe I get to do that. And then somebody's giving me the chance to do it. And then all of a sudden, you're literally one more full day away from actually doing it. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then we get to the back, and it's like, holy crap, this is really about to happen. And then I find out, oh shit, they're announcing me first. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh god. But then, me being the Stone Cold Steve Austin fan that I am, I'm like, you do not tell a Stone Cold fan that you're giving them an entrance at a wrestling show and not expect them to do the with the beers.
Exactly.
I did it. I got to live it out. And man, I'm still kind of riding the high off of that.
That's awesome.
It was something fun. All right. Now, we've talked a lot about, collecting, talked about, what I do, what you do, because good Lord, it's like they talk about, wallpapering, like your freaking whole wall, but, the whole damn room.
And
But,
silly.
I know it might be hard to do because there's so much to choose from, but is there any particular line that just you loved? You just loved getting maybe you have the whole series.
Yeah, Hasbro Series 1, the first 12, the WWF Hasbro's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Series 1. First one I got was Hulk Hogan. I got all 12 of them. So, yeah, that's my favorite out of
Nice.
everything. Hogan's my favorite, but the whole line's my favorite. So,
and you know what? I've seen you got to meet the big man himself.
since 2014, I've got to see him a bunch. So yeah, and he's he's cool. I'm really honored to get to see him, and
Yeah.
even this last go round, it's like he was going to be in St. Louis, and it wasn't going to work out for me to get off work to get to go up there. And then that night they said he's going to be in Osage Beach, Missouri, which is, it's like, all right, well, that's a Saturday. I was up at 3 a.m, and I was at the place at 7 o'clock. There was like just a couple other people there before us. I mean, we were first ones in line, and man, just walking up to him, yeah, look at this guy here. And I was like, can't believe he remembered me. And he's asking me when I'm coming back down. When you coming back down, and how's your wife? And blah, blah, blah. And talk to me. He was actually trying to carry on a conversation with me, and they're trying to move people along because it's that whole walk up, get a picture, go. Walk up, get a picture, go. There's no, I wasn't planning on having a conversation with him. I had my daughter with me. He's like, come by yourself. Like, this is my daughter. He's like, oh my God, it's your daughter, and he's like sitting there trying to strike up a conversation with me. And there's like hundreds and hundreds of people.
How those
so then
sometimes go.
So as soon as we got done with that one, it's like, well, we got to pass the Hy-Vee. He's going to be there next. So we just drove on over to Hy-Vee, got in about the middle of the line, went up there, and seen him again.
That is awesome. Man, getting to meet some of your favorites. I've been lucky enough to get to meet a few of mine, like Adam Copeland, Edge, however you want to call him now. I actually have a Elimination Chamber DVD cover signed by him where it was him where it looks like he's biting the cage.
Yeah.
I got that. And although I have to admit, I don't fanboy out too much, but if I ever got to meet Stone Cold Steve Austin, I don't know if I'd be able to get a word out.
Yeah. When I met Lex Luger in '93, when he did the Lex Express, just walking up to him and just seeing how gigantic he was, and no phones, no camera, it's like, I can't even believe I didn't have a camera. I just got the autograph, that got over there in the frame. And I actually got to become friends with Nikita Koloff.
Nice.
And, I've got to talk to Lex on the phone a couple times. And he follows me on Twitter now, so it's like,
hey.
So he's kind of one of my bucket lists to get to meet. Stone Cold would be somebody like that. I've become good friends with Bushwhacker Luke. I mean,
nice.
Just literal friendship I have with him is just unbelievable.
That's awesome. He was always, one of my favorites when I was growing up. The Bushwhackers, I just love the hell out of those.
Oh, I love the Bush. Yeah, and he had a gym down in Clearwater, and that's how I met him. And last time, let's see, it was October, was the last time we was down there. And he doesn't own this bar, but he's there every night, Panfilos. And 2 nights in a row, man, just went down there, he gets there at like 9 o'clock at night. And he stays until like 3 a.m. And, we went down there like 2 nights in a row, man, like 9 o'clock, sat there until like 12:30, and him just sitting there telling me stories of the old days and all this. And I'm just like, this is awesome, And
oh, yeah. I can only, wow. So that's actually pretty cool.
Actually, me and him was supposed to be a tag team a couple of years ago.
No kidding.
At a place in Memphis. The event ended up getting canceled. So that was a bummer, man. It's like
totally
still holding out hope for that, because he'll still get up in there. He doesn't do much, but I'll do whatever I got to do, man. Let's make this happen.
Oh yeah, I think there's a event coming up for some friends of mine up in Iowa, the Bridge City Slam.
I've seen that's coming up like in 7th or something.
Yep, and I believe that he's shown up there at least once or twice.
I'm sure he has. He's got a pretty good lineup coming up there too. I've seen several people. Powers of Pain is going to be there, and
Jordan Grace, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah, he gets a
Buff Bagwell and Scott Steiner.
Yeah, Fitz got Steiner down. We had both Steiners down at CCW one time. They kind of hung out in the had a little room they sat in. I never
Yeah.
did get a picture with them or anything. They were cool, but I never got a.
Mm.
That was kind of a shame.
That was kind of, I didn't want to have that experience this last Sunday when I got to making my commentary debut, and the one of the guys in the main event was former Ring of Honor and New Japan star Cheeseburger.
Oh, we've had him. Met him before too. We had him down. Can't believe all the people that I've really interacted with. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really can get kind of like, holy crap, this is way more people than I thought it was when you really go and think back on it.
It's insane.
But yeah, I remembered when I was shortly before I was getting ready to leave that night, I'm like, I have to get one. Like,
Yeah.
even just a quick little boom. And then here I gotta actually get a hold of him because I actually got his contact info. Gonna have the man on here, so that's gonna be fun. Just a matter of nailing down the date.
Yeah.
Oh, so
sorry.
no, I saw that. So yep, no, we can, we'll get to the final two here. I had one more, but we gotta get going, so we can get right to it. So the one question that I have to ask, because with the name of a show like I feel like I have to ask it. Favorite drink, whether it be alcoholic or non, or one of each.
I'm actually a non-drinker, so I don't.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I always go to drink a good cold Diet Coke. Most people associate me with energy drinks because I drink an energy drink every day, and I almost took a picture every day forever with a Bang Energy. I love Sourhead Bang Energy. Sign me up any day for one of those.
No,
I love energy drinks, man.
Oh, I've got a few that I enjoy. The C4 cherry popsicle ones.
Oh, those are good. I got a couple packs of C4's cherry starburst right now up there. That's what I've been nursing on the last couple weeks.
Nice. And I always tell people, because I've had people on that for one reason or another don't drink, and I always say, just because it says drinking at Moe's does not mean that it has to be alcoholic, because I want to include, everybody, people that, might be recovering alcoholics.
Oh, sure. I do have the one can of collection, though.
Oh, the real American.
Yeah.
Hey, for a Hogan fan, you gotta have it.
I've also got these still too from all these years. That's I don't know if you ever had the Hogan Energy.
You know what? I don't think I ever had.
Those were really good. I got a pack of them to drink when they had come out, and I had a 4-pack to keep as a keepsake.
That's definitely one of those things you got to do. I know I drank it, but I got a can over there of Stone Cold's Broken Skull American Lager.
I've got one of those sitting over here too. I got one can of that, and I got a can of Hogan's Hangout beer too that he sells down at the Hangout.
Nice. So, last but not least here, best advice you have for anybody wanting to get into wrestling?
Just do it. Do it.
Yeah. That's the thing, because
the only thing that can happen is you can get in there and see that it's not for you.
Yeah. That helped. Like I mentioned,
do it.
Yep. Like I mentioned with me, I found out the in-ring performing side wasn't going to be for me. But hell, there's other jobs in the business, or you can just not worry about it and sit back and enjoy yourself as a fan.
Maybe just be a fan, go set a ring up. There's something for everybody. You can be a guy who goes films the matches. There's lots of stuff that can be done.
Oh yeah, you can find just about any way to help out.
Oh
But
yeah.
all right, well, that is about all we have. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me tonight. But before we actually leave, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on you, they can go ahead and get them there.
All right, here we go. Slammer on Facebook. I also have a Slammer fan page on Facebook. So also on that, every Tuesday night, me and my buddy Mookie, Bro Show, every Tuesday night, Central Time. We're just get on there, man, for an hour or so. We talk about things we might pick up through the week, wrestling wise. We talk about just about anything, what we're drinking that night, what energy drink we might have or whatever. Just random little things. So join us for that and follow that Slammer page. Chris_Slammer. Slammer Mania at Slammer Mania on TikTok. I make videos on there all the time. If you want to see any of my wrestling matches, every single wrestling match I've ever had is on my YouTube page, Slammer at 4878. I got all those videos on there, other little videos, might make some workout videos and stuff, but every single wrestling match is on there. And if you go to prowrestlingtees.com/slammer, you can get a Slammer t-shirt, and I'm going to put some more designs up on there. And Cameo, I make a little birthday shout out, any type of shout outs. You can book me on there. I give people pep talks, birthday wishes, happy anniversary, happy holiday. I tell people, I will tell your boss you quit your job if you want me to. You just book me on Cameo, and I'll do almost anything, because I've had to turn one down before because I didn't really like what the people was asking me to do.
Oh boy, yeah.
I didn't need $20 that bad.
I can imagine that can get kind of nuts. But like I said, that is about all. Thank you again. And oh man, I enjoyed myself. I love getting to talk wrestling and figure collecting, and you're welcome back anytime.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate talking the wrestling figures. I can do that all the time.
Same with me, man.